But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Bill Higgins has seen the highest highs and the lowest lows, but he's faced it all with a never quit attitude.
You might as well strike out swinging, because you ain't going to hit a home run if you don't swing, and you're not even going to have a chance at it if you don't step up to the plate.
He wants to help you overcome whatever adversity you are dealing with in your own life.
There are no limits to what your dreams can be.
By sharing stories of redemption and strategies on living the best life you can live. Are you looking for some motivation and inspiration to get you on the path to success?
Quitting is a learned behavior, not a natural behavior. Our natural instinct is to not quit. But we learn to quit because people talk us out of our dreams.
You've come to the right place. These are the Comeback Chronicles.
Welcome back to the Comeback Chronicles. Welcome back to my comebackers. Welcome back, all you never quitters. This is Bill Higgins, host of the Comeback Chronicles podcast, and I am here broadcasting to you from my bunker, where I am practicing social distancing, quarantining, doing everything we're supposed to do to put this thing behind us and move forward. I want to tell you guys something. You will have setbacks. 100% guaranteed, without a doubt. Do not even try to kid yourself. You will have setbacks. Probably every single day. You'll face some setback. Something won't go the way you wanted it to go. Something won't happen the way you wanted it to happen. Things won't go the way you planned. And that's just life. But let me let you in on a little secret. If you think there is anyone out there that has zero problems, you are dead wrong. In fact, those of you who think that the people out there that have the best lives, people you look at, you envy, you wish you could be like, they got the biggest problems. I'm going to borrow a quote from my buddy Sam Crowley, who tells it like this: those people that you think have the best lives, they don't. They just have the best photographers. They just take the best pictures. Under the surface, they're hiding a lot. They're hiding a lot, and they got more problems. I doubt you'd trade places with them if you really knew what they were dealing with. They just put a good face on it and try to cover up what's really going on. They're not always the most real people. But the bottom line is you will face setbacks. There's no question about it. So what do we do to counterbalance that? How do we counteract that? Well, you have to make sure you stack up enough wins to offset the setbacks. It's as simple as that. We often only measure the big wins, the big successes. But we really need to take a step back and look at the little wins in our lives every day and do something to set ourselves up for more little wins. Set the stage so that we're going to have a win every day, because it's the small wins that lead to the big wins. When you watch a no-hitter, and I've talked about this before, I've been to 3 no-hitters in my life. Every no-hitter you see in a baseball game starts with a big strikeout in the first inning, a big one. Every NBA player that scored 50 points in a game had a big shot in the first quarter. There was a big jumper, 40, 35-foot jumper, nothing but net, right? Big swish. Every baseball player that's gone 5 for 5 on the day had one of those hits, one that he had to eke out, one that was a bang-bang play at first base, and if he didn't run hard, he would have been out. Because it's those small wins that line up and beget the big wins. And that's what we need to do. We need to make sure we're stacking wins at all times. So in your everyday life, you got to find a way to be poised to have a big win. Or I should say, be poised to have a win. Small, big, doesn't matter the size. So where are we going to find these small wins? Where are we going to find these wins? How are we going to stack them up? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my daily routine and how I make sure that I have wins every day. Some of these things may sound silly, but when you step back and think about it, there are ways that you're going to set yourself up to be on the path of winning every day. So here's the other thing with some of these wins that you try to set up. They may actually put you in a position to have a setback, because if you set your goal and it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to, you're going to have a setback. The first one's a big one. I'm going to just tell you right now. Get up 5 minutes earlier tomorrow than you did today, okay? Get up 5 minutes earlier than you did today. Start your day with a win right there. Now, if you don't, yeah, that's one of your setbacks. But it doesn't matter, because as long as we set up more wins and losses, the day is a win. And that's what we're trying to do, win the day every day. So tomorrow, get up 5 minutes earlier than you did today. If you slept in today and got up at 10 o'clock, no big deal. All you got to do is get up at 9:55 tomorrow, and you won the day tomorrow. You did better tomorrow than you did today, and that's what we're all trying to do. Here's another one, especially during the quarantine, we're all locked inside. Pick up your credit card statements and call your credit card companies. Ask them for a lower rate, raise your credit level, increase your minimum payment. Ask them if they'll give you some relief through the COVID virus, whether or not they'll extend your payment, skip a month, something like that. If you talk to these people and they give you something, that's a win. That's a win, and that's what we're going to do. Get a lower rate. You're saving some money, and the bottom line is you did something today that created a win. Invest in the stock market. This is really interesting. This is a way that I have an Ameritrade account, which I do some buying and selling of stocks, and then I have my Edward Jones account, which is my long-term retirement account. And I look at them every day. I look at them every morning. I look at them a couple times throughout the day, to tell you the truth. If they're up, bang, there's a win right there. But what if they're down? How's that a win? Well, it's a win because if it's a stock that you've invested in, that you've researched and are satisfied that this is a good company, that you think the investment was good to make, and today the stock went down, guess what? It's on sale. A buying opportunity. Win. Buy some. Buy some. So there's another way to create a win, even no matter what the result is. If stock's up, great. Cheer that you're making money. If it's down, great. Cheer that you have a buying opportunity. Look at your savings accounts. Savings accounts, they have guaranteed interest. It might only be a little bit, but if you've made 3, 4, 5 cents on your savings account today, that's a win. Count it as a win. Put it in the win column. It's just like finding a quarter on the street. You're not going to bend over and pick that up? Of course you are. So there's another place to look for wins. Go through the sales of the supermarkets. All right, grocery stores. Look if there's an item that you buy a lot and there's a good sale on it today. Get to the supermarket and buy a dozen of them. If it's something you can save or store, right? That's a win. A lot of supermarkets, grocery stores, they offer reward points, right? Stack them up. I go to Giant Eagle and they have a rewards point program. You spend money there, you get money off your gas. I love saving those up. Get a bunch of money, save them up, go get a free tank of gas. I make sure I don't do it till my tank is completely empty. I go in there, put $40 worth of gas in my car, free. There's a win. For me, I record a podcast. For you, you can record your first podcast. I'm sure you have something interesting to share that people would appreciate. I'm sure if you have a passion, you like talking about it. Start a podcast. It's real easy. I've talked about it a few times, how you can do that. Start a podcast. Get on your social media. Talk about something you have passion about. Share that information with somebody else. That's another way to get a win. Reading a book. Now, there's ways to count this as, obviously, anytime you're reading, you're growing your mind. But sometimes it's hard to measure that. Start measuring it. Yesterday I read 10 pages. Today I'm going to read 15. Yesterday I read 2 chapters. Today I'm going to read 3. My daughter Sarah and I have been doing this. We use an app called Goodreads. It's a way to, it's sort of like a social media for book readers. Some people might call Facebook for nerds, right? But basically what you do is you put together a library on there, the books you're reading, chart your progress, set up a challenge. I'm going to read 52 books this year. And then each week you finish one, you check it off there. It's a way to chart your progress. I'll put a link to that in the comment section below so that you can check that out. But my little boys tell me that's a description section. In the description section below, I'll put a link to the Goodreads app. Maybe you could check that out. It's a way to chart your progress when you're reading and to accumulate wins, right? Physical challenges. Lifting weights, lift 5 pounds more than you did yesterday. On the cardio, if you're on the treadmill for a half hour a day, make it 35 minutes today. If you did it for an hour yesterday, an hour and 5 minutes. If you went 3 miles, go 4. Every day, chart your progress and build up wins that way. That's certainly a way to get some wins. Call a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Go through your phone book, look at hey, I haven't talked to this guy for a while, through your contacts. Say, I'm going to give him a call, see how he's doing. guaranteed he'll appreciate the call. He or she will appreciate the call, and they'll make you feel good about yourself too. Talk about why you called them, what made you think of them. They'll share a story with you most likely, and you guys will both get a win for the day. Your job, the work that you do. How do you chart success there? I'm in sales, and every time I sell something, obviously that's a win, but I also need that sale to get financed. I don't get paid on the job until there's a net sale, all right? So every day I go through my list of pending sales, and I look at the ones that have gone net, all right? Yeah, some of them fall off. They didn't get financed. There's your setback. But if you got one that netted, you got a net deal today, there's a win, right? And that's what we're looking to do here. We're trying to accumulate wins. Before the quarantine hit, I was going to mass every morning. That was a great way to get a win to start the day. Wake up in the morning, go to church, thank God for everything he's given me, my health, my family, that gratitude list that I've talked about before. Unfortunately, during the quarantine, that's been a little more difficult. I try to get up in the morning, watch mass online. I'm not going to kid you. Sometimes it's a little more difficult. I'm not as faithful and loyal to that as I was to actually going to mass every day. Something about actually getting out of bed, getting in the car, driving, that physical activity was a little more measurable or a little more achievable. But I'm going to keep working on that. Another way to get a win, do something with your kids, man. Anytime you can put a smile on your kid's face, that is a win. When I'm doing this podcast right now, I have my little boy Billy helping me out. He's kind of giving me some pointing to things that I forget, or making sure that my video is recording the whole time. Get in there, buddy. Yeah, he's gonna. If you're watching the video, you'll see him stick his face in there real quick. He's making sure that my battery doesn't die. We were recording the podcast earlier, and it wasn't that my battery died, but I ran out of storage on my phone. So we ended up redoing this section again, and my little buddy's helping me with that. My daughter Sarah is going to help me edit the podcast for the video feed. She's done that for me a couple times, and she's going to keep doing that. So include your family in everything you do. My daughter Caroline, my middle daughter, we do TikToks together. We have a lot of fun. Those are wins, man. Anytime you are making memories with your kids, if you don't count that as a win, there's something wrong with you, and I can't help you. Another thing I've been doing, I'm a big movie fan, but there are a lot of movies that I haven't watched. I usually watch the newest movies or the latest thing that's out. What I've been doing is trying to go back to see what's a classic movie I haven't seen. Sit down, watch it, analyze it, see if I can get anything from it. Over the years, I've always watched the latest James Bond movie when it came out, but I never really went back and watched the old ones. What I'm trying to do is from start to finish right now, watch all the James Bond movies. Check them out next time I'm in a trivia contest or something like that, and there's a James Bond question. I'm going to know the answer to that. When I'm finished the James Bond movies, I'm going to look at something else to kind of develop that hobby a little bit. Another thing I do is I sell things on eBay and Amazon. Now, this is obviously it's a good way to make money. Gary Vee talks a lot about the flipping life, how you can make some extra cash through eBay and Amazon, and there's definitely that aspect to it. But there's also the challenge to it. And the setting up wins. You feel good when you put something on there and you get that notification that it's sold. That's a win. It gives you that little bit of a high, even if it's only for a couple bucks. As far as Amazon's concerned, I kind of had this lifelong dream to open a bookstore. I would love to own a bookstore at the beach. All right. And I know this is kind of silly, especially in this age of digital readers and things like that. Less and less people are buying physical books, but I just have a real passion for it. I love reading books. I love buying books. I love having books. And about a year or two ago, maybe more than that, 3 or 4 years ago, I started putting books on Amazon. I have a library on Amazon of about 1,000 books in inventory. And I used to sell 1 or 2 books a week. With this quarantine, and I've talked about this before, look for the opportunities that this quarantine is creating. I have listed... I've listed 1,000 books in my inventory, but I'm selling about 5, 6, sometimes 10 books a week through Amazon. And I tell you, you get a nice little high when you get that notification that you sold a book. You only make $5, but number one, it's $5 you didn't have. Number two, it's a sense of accomplishment. And number three, it's just a way for me to experience my books, to go through my inventory, look at what I have, look at what I get. I buy them at yard sales. I buy them at the dollar store. I buy books that I enjoy, I read them, then I list them on Amazon. So this is it's kind of a hobby for me, small business / hobby, and I enjoy doing it. So that's another way you can start to build some wins. Go through your budget. There's always ways. Most people look at how they're going to fix their financial situation by how they can make more money. And that's certainly one way you can do it. But I find, and a lot of experts agree with this, the more money you earn, the more money you spend. So making more money isn't going to always solve your financial problem. In fact, sometimes it makes your financial problems worse. But you can count it as a win if you go through your budget and find things you can cross off. Hey, I can save $5 here. I can save $10 here. Make that list. Count some wins. Accumulate wins that way. Just a couple more things. I have talked about this before. I play the ukulele, or I try to play the ukulele. I have a little bit of fun with it. I don't practice it as much as I should. Got my little boy handing me my ukulele right here. Here it is in the case. But the more I sit down and practice that ukulele, I feel like a win. If I could spend a half hour, get a little bit better at it, eventually I want to get to the point where I'm not embarrassed about playing in front of people. I'm not there yet. But I'd like to maybe play in front of people someday. Keep watching the Facebook page. Eventually you'll see me playing the ukulele on there. But every time I practice and get a little bit better, that's a win for the day. One other thing I've been doing, I kind of picked up some photography. When I'm out and about on my sales calls, I pass a lot of neat things. I like old vintage signs, old buildings. I take pictures of these things. My little boy pulled my ukulele out of the case there. There you go. So I'll show a little bit more of that later when I get some practice in. But anyway, I take pictures of these things that I find interesting while I'm out traveling around. Before the quarantine started, I took a digital photography, not course, but a 1-hour presentation at the Apple Store, just to show you the tools that you can use on your iPhone there to make some digital photography. Well, I did that, and now I kind of learned a little bit. I'm doing a little bit more about it. And I posted some of the pictures on my Instagram page. So check them out. Let me know what you think. Anyway, that's just another way that I have found to find wins. Exploring your hobby, exploring your passions, and all the things that I've talked about today. Wins beget wins. They stack. Okay, and then what you're trying to do is make sure your wins offset your losses. So at the end of the day, you could say, hey, today is Friday. I won Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm going to win Saturday too. I'm going to win Sunday. I'm going to win the week. I'm going to win the month. I'm going to win the year. Wins beget wins. Stack them up. So where can you find a win today? Where in your life can you sit back and find a small win? You could find a small win within the next 15 minutes. Take a step back. Put a win on put another check in the win column for today, so that whatever comes along to set you back, you're already counterbalancing that and counteracting that. Share your ideas with me. Get on the Facebook page. Comment below in wherever you see this podcast or watch the video, and tell me a little bit about somewhere in your life where you found a win. Whether I inspired you today to find it, or it's something you've been doing for a long time and it just had an opportunity to reflect on it. Share that with me. Share that with the audience. We like that. And do me a favor. Share this podcast wherever you find it, both through video feed and audio feed. We're trying to grow this audience. If you're getting a benefit from this podcast, maybe somebody else will as well, and I'd ask you to share that. So one last thing I'd just like to close with. I've been talking about this a lot during the quarantine, but it's look for those opportunities that the coronavirus quarantine is creating and presenting to you. I've talked a lot about them here, but there are other opportunities out there, and I love to hear stories about them. So share with me the opportunities that you have found through this quarantine. And the other thing is, Wayne Gretzky's famous for saying he didn't go where the puck was. He went where the puck was going to be. Where's the puck going to be? After this quarantine thing's over, we're not going back to the same lives that we had before this happened. We're just not, okay? So what opportunities are going to present themselves, and what things are going to be things of the past? There are things that we probably learned during this quarantine, things that we were doing that we don't need to do anymore. I think there's going to be a whole lot more Zoom meetings when this is over. Not because we're trying to stay away from each other and social distance, but because we have learned that this is a viable opportunity that we can use. We don't have to drag everybody into the office to a meeting place anymore. We can meet by Zoom. That's just one. So where's the puck going to be?
when this is over, and go there. There are plenty of opportunities out there. We are Americans, and we are going to get through this. There's no question about it. We're going to come out stronger in the end, just like all of us have through our comebacks. I know that's worked, kind of to parallel this to what I've been going through over the last couple years. I know I'm coming out stronger in the end. And we're going to come through this coronavirus stronger in the end as well. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts, your feedback, your comments. And just remember to never surrender, never give up, never quit. Tomorrow isn't promised, but today is. Get out there. Actually, you know what? During this quarantine, I guess we aren't going to get out there. Stay home and make the very best of it. Your best days lie ahead of you.
Thanks for listening to the Comeback Chronicles. If Bill has motivated and inspired you today, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and share it. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching the Comeback Chronicles. If you want to book Bill as a speaker for your organization, email him at bill@billhigginsjr.net. Hope you'll come back for more inspiration from the Comeback Chronicles.